Hey everybody, it's Mike Sullivan with Born to Shine. Today we have a super cool guest, and she's in one of the most beautiful places on earth in California. And her name is Dr. Stephanie Greenquist-Marlett. And Stephanie, thank you so much for carving out time with us today and for sharing your story with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. I love your work. I love what you've done with your podcast, and I'm just so honored to be able to share a little piece of what I do with you as well.
Well, likewise, and I love what you do. I've seen some of your videos, and I totally can feel already that you have a huge heart for kids and you want to help them, and I think that's beautiful. So, like, if our viewers are going, well, cool. Well, how did Stephanie get into this work, or what's her like favorite part of going to work every day? What's the favorite part of her career or job? What would that be?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I don't think I set out to be in this line of work. My dad was a teacher. Oh, my cat made an
Yeah, they
appearance.
got a cat. Hey.
Hi. My dad was a teacher, and I remember him kind of saying, don't go into education. It's a lot of work. And he was a teacher and a principal, and he was so fantastic at it, but it comes with a lot of stress. And it's just a big responsibility. So that was always kind of the joke. So I moved out to Los Angeles. I went into entertainment for many years. And then I had my two children, and that really changed everything for me because I think as a mom, something that's really that a lot of new moms do is they really focus in on parenting. How can I be the best parent for my kids? And the whole trajectory kind of shifted for me after having kids. So that's when I went back to school. I got my elementary ed certificate, got my master's, and then I ended up saying, hey, I want to do it all. I want to get my PhD. So that was really interesting to do that with two young children, but we made it through. We're here, we survived. And then just beyond the degree, it's like, well, what do I do with this? I went into teaching. I was a kindergarten teacher for a while. And now I have this beautiful job. I'm the director of social emotional learning for an elementary and middle school. And I really had the autonomy to get in there with my own programs to bring S.E.L, to design and implement my own curriculum and really see these students use these really important strategies outside of the class, at playtime or outside of the school hours. And that is so special and meaningful to me that every year, every moment that I do that and have these beautiful moments just keeps wanting me to continue with my research, to continue teaching these kids, to continue bringing social learning into the world in a really explicit and meaningful way. So it's been a really interesting journey. I keep growing and keep trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do with it next? And I think one of my favorite things about this job and one of the goals I have is just bringing this research into practice. There's so much research out there that's been done and it just stays in academia. And I just want to pull it out and bring all of these practical resources that we know would benefit children so well and just give them to the teachers, whether it's building a curriculum, getting to teach it myself, but bringing the strategies where they belong and not in some stuffy journal that people aren't reading because they're too busy designing curriculum and teaching their kids and coming up with what they need to do. So if I can kind of be the bridge for that, that's always been something that's been really exciting for me as well.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. And that's so cool because we're taking it from a textbook and we're giving it to a child. We take it from a stuffy atmosphere and we take it and bring it into a fun, playful, like, real life, every day. How can we apply this? How can we apply these tools to our life?
Absolutely. And just to see children, walking around during lunch or a play opportunity and seeing them taking a moment to take a deep breath or to
Mm.
see them telling their friends, hey, I need some space, and actually just watching them in real time regulating their emotions or, working together as a team and learning how to share ideas and kind of building that safe space is just so rewarding to know that they not only are getting it, understanding, but that they're using it practically. And we have children as young as 3 or 4 years old at our school, and they're using these strategies. And I think there's a lot of people who think that maybe children that young aren't capable of utilizing these strategies. But if you teach them in a developmentally appropriate way, they absolutely can learn them. And then you just establish this foundation for their social growth for the rest of their lives. And I think that's so important, and such a beautiful gift that I get to do that as part of my profession. So it's a really joyful experience.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, those kids are lucky to have you. So it's super cool because it's obvious you love what you do, and it kind of dovetails beautifully into the next question, which is when you were K through 8, because those are the kiddos you're around now. Was there anything that you struggled with? Like for me, I was bullied in third grade, and it started, and it went all the way through high school, and that kind of led to like depression, anxiety, and I really struggled with OCD and ADD and who knows what else. A through Z, I had it all. And was there anything that you struggled with when you were a kiddo?
Yeah, of course. I think we all have things that we struggle with, and that's such a, especially in those middle school years, that's such a fragile and vulnerable time.
Mm.
Uh, One thing comes to mind for me, which is, I was going to say so interesting, but maybe the impetus for all of this work, now that I'm thinking through it, is just I had a lot of social anxiety, and still do to this day, if I'm honest, and just maybe not always connecting with people on the way that I wanted to, or making as meaningful relationships. Sometimes it was with communication. I wouldn't, what didn't always feel like I was speaking in a way that was appropriate. I was a little too direct when people were kind of talking in riddles, and I just kind of never felt fully connected at that time. And if I were to think of it now, I've actually done a lot of work in neurodiversity. I was actually recently diagnosed with ADHD, so I've been learning a lot about that and find that so fascinating. And while I'm not diagnosed yet for autism, I think it's possible, and that's something that I want to look into in the future. And I think it's all of this is to say that I think neurodiversity is such an important construct for educators to learn about, because students are so different, neurodiverse or beyond, and have different learning needs. And the more we learn, the more we understand neurodiversity, and the more we can translate that into practical strategies to help students individually, and providing what they need as much as we can in a school setting. I think that's really important. So I would attribute a lot of that. It's interesting, some of these thoughts I'm having for the first time right now, but I think a lot of that might just stem from some of the experiences I had when I was younger. And I think I'm just sort of right in the beginning of this path to understanding where that came from, what that means now and in the future, and also how I could take some of my experiences and help other students who might have felt the same way or feel the same way. And I think there's something really beautiful about just when students or children in general feel like they can relate to you and understand. Now we're talking on the same level. I'm not talking, down to you. We're having a conversation. We can open up. I'm creating that safe space to really to be a helpful resource and support system for my students. So
Yeah, I love that. And you know what's so cool, Stephanie, is that we're not little kiddos anymore. I mean, we're not old, but we're not little kiddos. And the coolest part, what I would think is so awesome about you and how you're helping your kids, is you're modeling it. You're modeling growth. You're modeling encouragement. You're modeling, um, you know, um, how to embrace new things that we learn about ourselves. Like even for me, I am, uh, I'm in my 50s now, and I still am seeking, how can I grow? How can I improve? How can I, get through these internal struggles that I have? And so if you're a kiddo, you've got someone amazing with Stephanie. And if you're a kiddo out in another school, maybe go to your counselor and just open up. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay. And it's okay to share. And if you're maybe a parent that's listening to this, or maybe you're a grandparent and you're like, I'm struggling with this, but I feel shame or embarrassed to go, just go get some help. It's okay. I still get counseling even to this day with EMDR for past trauma, and it's helpful. It's versus trying to just close my eyes and plug my ears and pretend it'll go away. That doesn't work. So it's awesome that you're doing this, that you're growing as an adult, and open to learning more about yourself. I think sometimes we kind of harden up and put up a wall and just pretend that everything's okay, and that doesn't help us grow. So I think
It
it's
didn't
awesome.
help us grow, and I think there's something beautiful about being vulnerable and sharing that with students, and also letting them be vulnerable. And again, going back to creating that safe space. One thing I'm a big proponent of is help seeking. I think it's so important to change the narrative on help seeking. That it's okay to ask for help. You're not being strong by not asking for help. Maybe it's academic help seeking. You can ask teachers, peers, what resources. I think we need to be teaching that explicitly in the classroom. And then beyond academics, psychological, social help seeking, it's okay to get the help you need. Not even okay, it's great, it's wonderful, it's important. This is what we should be doing. To not ask for help is it's just keeping you from like you said, the growth, and from being the best person you can be. It's keeping it inside. And if we really want to be healthy with our emotional regulation, and we really want to get the supports we need, uh, we're in a social society. We shouldn't be expected to handle this on our own. That's not how we function for
Mhm.
generations. That's not who we are.
Right.
So asking for help is just, it's actually something really strong that you can do to benefit yourself. And again, I think that's where teachers or leaders, parents, community members can really show kids and model that help seeking. If they're doing it, then kids are saying, oh, it's okay, we're not keeping it inside, we're out there, and this is just the norm, and it will become the norm, and then we're just getting all of our needs met. And I can't think of anything more healthy than that.
Yeah, amen to that. Because it's true. The way we're designed on the deepest level is for community. We're not designed to be alone and isolated. That's where the mess happens. I know, at least for me and other friends and people that struggle, like really, really struggle. And if someone asks us, well, have you been in community? Have you been hanging out with friends? Have you been in groups? Have you? No, I've been all alone. I know, at least for me, when I'm totally isolated, that's when all the kind of self doubt comes in. And then if you get around good friends and other people that can lift you up, because our words have so much power, and being in community has so much power and strength. There's strength in that, of lifting each other up.
So true. I love that you brought it up. I'm actually getting on a plane tomorrow to head to a conference on self-determination theory. It's one of my favorite theories. And basically, it's simple. It just says individuals will thrive if three psychological needs are met. And the first one is autonomy, having a voice, being able to advocate, having choice and agency. The second one is competence, really feeling like you have self-efficacy, that you're able to learn skills and really be in charge of your learning. And then the third one is relatedness, and I think that's so important, to build belonging and build community and building these safe spaces in a contextual educational setting. That would be getting to know your students, getting to know what they like, what they do. Bring them into the learning, bring them into the problem solving. Kai made 5 soccer goals this weekend. Maybe he just came from a tournament. I think that's when students really engage, is when they feel like they're heard and they have their identity heard, and we're learning about empathy, where you're understanding the perspectives of others. I think that's what really builds a really strong community, and I think that is just one of the most important things you can have for learning, but also just for thriving in society and living a happy life. I think belonging is so important. I'm a big proponent of that, and growing that, again, in education and outside, everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So
No, that's awesome. Love it, love it, love it. We're definitely cut from the same cloth, and we're actually both from Midwest, which is wild. And we're both
I
in
know, it's the way I
the
cover.
similar line of
Literally.
work. It's crazy. It's cool. And like, I guess maybe two more, if that's okay. Like, one question would be, where do you see some gaps, maybe, or some bridges between, like, hey, our kids are here, we want to get them over here with their emotional and mental health. And
Yeah.
then two, like, if you had a magic wand and could just bring anything into your school, what would that be? Is it, another S.E.L. program, or is it another school counselor, or is it a support dog named Fluffy, or whatever it is? Whatever's, just dream big.
Yes, the support dog. Always, the more animals around, the better for me. But
Yeah.
oh gosh, that's a really good question. I think, overall, generally school systems tend to be more reactive than
Hmm.
proactive. So
Yeah.
this is my perspective. I'm an educational psychologist, so I focus more on motivation to learn, self-regulated learning, but I'm not a school psychologist, so I don't want to, come from a psychological standpoint that I don't quite have the background for. But what I can say to that is I do think mental health is so ingrained in the SEL. I think of course, we're going to be reactive because we see a student struggle, we recognize there's a problem. Now we have these interventions and treatments to help them. That's always going to be there. That's always really important. But what can we do to be a little bit more preventative? And again, that's where the SEL comes in. That's where we teach our children about help seeking. We teach them about empathy and kindness and how to try to understand where somebody that's different from you is coming from. Learn about diversity, build identity awareness. What makes you so special? What makes somebody different from you so special? How can you connect with one another? Communicating, regulating our emotions, all those skills. Um, if we can build those, I really think that will just strengthen our mental health in general across the board. It's not going to be the cure all, the silver bullet, but it certainly will give us the tools we need when we are struggling with mental health. So I truly think if that's the one thing we can do is just teach SEL in all contexts, explicitly through dedicated lessons. I think a lot of schools are kind of missing that opportunity to really just say, hey, these are the constructs, these are the strategies, this is how you do them. Now let's try them. Now take it out into the world. It's not just a one-shot lesson, it's a continuous, explicit curriculum throughout the year. And then implicitly, I think teachers can always kind of be continuing that lesson by modeling, by guiding and supporting outside of the classroom. On a larger scale, I think there's a lot we can do there. If there's one thing I actually want to do starting next year is we have a lot of neurodiverse students at our school, which is so beautiful and lovely. And I think we can do things to support them more. Uh, uh, One thing I want to do is just I have an office and it's just made for being a little neurodiverse paradise. So I want to just have it just be a peaceful space if somebody's feeling dysregulated,
Hmm.
uh, having all the tools and the fidgets and then the seating and the lighting where they can just really come back and feel take that time for themselves in that space because you're not learning if you're dysregulated and it's not fun just in general to feel dysregulated. That's not a good feeling to have. To answer your question, I think one of my goals for next year would just to actually create an intentional space where and not just neurodiverse children, any child who feels dysregulated can come and just have a moment to take that space and to get emotionally regulated and then go back to class. That would be a really nice thing to have, I think.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. I wish they had that when I was a kid, and I don't even know if
Right.
it's like I wonder as a just the artist in me for funsies. And I know you said you when you moved from Milwaukee to LA, you were in the entertainment biz, and so that you're probably some kind of artist, creative. I don't know if it was an actress or what it was, but um, uh, I almost wonder if there's some kind of fun title for it, or like an acronym, like an ERR, like a emotional regulation room, or even more fun for kids, if like that's a big word, emotional regulation. Like, hey, it's a chill out room, Or I wonder it'd be, it's the who knows? I just,
We'll
wouldn't that
put
be?
the comments in the YouTube and we'll check it out and the best title will win. I'll let you
Yeah,
guys know which one to pick. So
yeah.
everybody's collaborative community. Give us your ideas. There's definitely a cool name for it for sure.
I think that would be awesome because it's neat for kids, especially if they're, who knows, you never, like you said, just that fostering and encouraging kindness and empathy. That's a huge one. Just having, seeing things from a different perspective. You don't know if some kid had a really horrible morning or their parents had a horrible morning and they're coming to school with all that just to be a little gentler and kinder and more compassionate with each other. And so even to have that room, I don't know, it's cool. I love it. And if there's something in your heart, Stephanie, maybe words of encouragement or edification for like a kiddo, K through 8, or even a mom or dad, a parent, maybe words of encouragement for them, or someone like yourself that, this is your line of work. What would you say to her or him?
Oh, that's such a good question. There is one piece of advice that is probably my favorite parenting advice that I got, that I find so helpful, and that is you can't regulate a child until you regulate yourself. So I think as far as parenting goes, and it feels so obvious, but it's not always easy to do, right? To just if you're going to help your child who's dysregulated, the best thing you can do is calm yourself first. If you're
Mm.
going in hot and heavy, or if you're feeling sad or emotional, you're not going to get to the conversation that you want to have that's going to create meaning for your child. You're not going to be able to support them as easily and get their needs met until you have been able to think through things calmly on your end. So I really love that advice. But beyond that, just keep going. I think parenting's really hard. I think after COVID, it's been really hard. I would say, academically, of course, academics are important, but let's give our kids a little bit of slack. Give yourselves a little bit of slack. Go easy on yourself because you're doing a great job. I see so many parents who are so hard on themselves, and there's so much guilt that people carry, and that's hard to get rid of. And I have that myself, but to the best of your ability, if you can, whatever you can do to kind of diminish that, and just know that you're giving your child a great experience. You're doing everything you can, and that's a really beautiful, wonderful thing. Just to keep going and to you know take pride in that, and to love yourself, and love the parenting that you're doing, because you're doing great. You're doing great.
That's awesome. Stephanie, thank you so much for your heart. Thank you for your wisdom and experience and sharing all of this with us. And just thank you for what you do. I really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Like, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I've had a great time, and any opportunity to share with a like-minded person and like-minded audience about social emotional learning is such a joyful experience for me. So thank you so much for having me.